approach.
SNP spokesperson Chris Stevens.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I congratulate the Right Honourable Member for North Thanet for securing this urgent question. I think the points he's made about the lack of consultation, both with him as the member with the local authority and health services, frankly, is appalling. And so can I ask the Minister a number of questions? Firstly, across party reports by the All-Party Parliamentary Group on immigration detention called on the Government to end its military-style accommodation for asylum seekers, which it described as fundamentally unsuitable for survivors of war, torture or serious violence. So why is the Home Office ignoring these warnings from parliamentary colleagues? The Home Office previously ignored warnings on the use of Napier barracks from the Red Cross and Public Health England, with the result being an inevitable COVID outbreak among those being held there. With the pandemic now entering another dangerous phase, will they commit to listening to the experts this time and follow their own health guidance? And can he confirm the situation in Manston, that parts of that estate are currently condemned as a result of asbestos being on the site? Well, we know there's been little consultation, if any, in fact none at all, with the local authority and other key partners such as the health services. What consultations have taken place with NGOs who work with torture survivors, victims of trafficking and other trauma? Or, like Napier, is there a lack of proper planning processes? And finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Minister mentions illegal migrants. When will the Department commit to ending this dog whistle language? There is no such thing as an illegal migrant. Seeking asylum is not illegal. So when will they put an end to this language and pandering to the lowest common denominator?
Well, I'm very grateful to the honourable member for his contribution and for the questions that he raises. And I would just make the point that I wouldn't consider that we are ignoring concerns that are raised, and that is why, as I've set out for the House, we have consistently been responsive, for example, to the reports to the inspectors, and where they make recommendations, we consider those recommendations and we act appropriately. He will recognise, I think, that there is a need for accommodation, that the system at the moment is under very acute pressure with the numbers of arrivals that he is seeing. He will recognise that we are seeking to reform the system. That is why we are bringing forward the Nationality and Borders Bill, which is all about driving reform, to process cases more quickly, to provide sanctuary to those who require it, and to remove those with no right to be here. That is a firm but fair system, and one that I would argue is right. In response to his particular point about there being no consultation with local partners, that is simply not true. As I've described for the House, that engagement is ongoing. And I would also just say, he asked very particularly about areas of the site with asbestos. We will, of course, act entirely appropriately with safety at the forefront. I've made that point several times. There are assessments that are ongoing about various parts of the site, and it is right that we always act with safety at the forefront of our minds.
Bob Blackall.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.